From hitthatline.com and across all of the ESPN Arkansas platforms, and in association with the Arkansas Sports Network, it's the only in-depth high school sports podcast in the state of Arkansas. It's PrimeTime Preps. And here's your hosts, Brad Caldwell and Bill Harshaw.
Welcome into the final edition of Primetime Preps. You got your hosts here, Brad Caldwell and Bill Harshaw. We're here to wrap it up for the 2020-2021 school year. And Bill, it has been a lot of fun this year to be able to cover the amount of high school athletes that we've been able to do.
And we've covered it in football. We've covered it in basketball. We've even had a couple guys that are playing basketball or baseball rather, up in Fayetteville next year. So we've covered a lot of bases, pun intended, about this. And it's been a long season. It's been a busy season. But I mean, you're right. We've talked to a lot of different people in the course of this show this year, and I think it's going to be a special episode as we're going to touch base with some of those kids, kind of revisit some of those interviews, and we've had some good ones.
We've had several good ones. We've got a list that we're going to go down here in just a minute. But first, we've been a part of the ESPN Podcast Network that Ty Richardson, I'm sure that's the brainchild of Ty. And so we said we really appreciate Ty bringing us on. So I'm going to kick it to you, Bill.
That's right. Don't forget to subscribe to the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Just search Hit That Line wherever you listen to your podcast. And it's brought to you by Breeden RV Center. And remember, Breeden RV Center, family owned and operated, a no pressure, laid back atmosphere, and always home to the free maintenance for life.
And I think that's the best we've ever done that. I should have just let you do that every time. With that being said, man, we do appreciate ESPN letting us be a part. We'll get to the thank yous here in a minute. But before we get to those thank yous, let's talk about state champions. Since we've had our show, we've named 12 state champions between the boys and the girls side of things. And we've got some state champions that we want to get to. In the 1A, we had Viola defeating Westside Greers Ferry. Greers Ferry was the host school for the state tournament. They rode that wave all the way through and ended up getting to the state finals, but Viola was a little bit too much in Hot Springs with the 62-57 victory over Westside Greers Ferry. On the 1A girls side of things, it was Rural Special 48, Norfolk 40. That was a conference matchup. Actually, all of those are in the same conference. Westside Greers Ferry, Viola, Rural Special, and Norfolk. They all came out of the same conference, coincidentally.
That's a tough conference right there. That's what
absolutely,
that tells you.
A lot of good ball being played there.
And it's definitely not a conference that just anybody would want to be a part of. I mean, unless you have it to bring, you don't want to be a part of that party.
That's right. So in 2A, you got Mariana Lee over Caddo Hills. 62-55. Mariana Lee was really the favorite coming into the year. 7-point victors over Cattle Hills. Cattle Hills played a lot of good basketball, but Mariana Lee too tough in the end. And then Melbourne, we talked about Melbourne. Razorback commitment on that team. 55-34 victory over Salem on the girls' side of things in the 2A. They are very tough to handle. Going to be tough to handle for the next couple of years as well.
And the cool thing about some of these 2A teams, even though they're small school, you're only talking about 5, 6, maybe 7 or 8 girls or guys, depending on which side you're looking at. But you're only talking about that core group of players for that individual team. And you could take that same 4, 5, 6, whatever it is, to a 6A conference. And if they're good enough, you can compete. And so that's the cool thing about these 2A schools is, even though, they don't have the same numbers and the amount of athletes to choose from that the bigger guys do, they can still be a big force to be reckoned with. And we're not going to see a 2A matched up with a 6A day-to-day, but it's always fun to play what if. What if we saw, this team match up against this team? Could be it went out. And so some of these teams, even though they're 2A, they're really, really tough.
They are really, really tough for sure. I mean, anytime that you're playing for the state championship, you're good. No matter what classification you are, and I can guarantee you that Melbourne beat Fort Smith Northside on the girls' side of things, but I can guarantee you your state championship caliber team in the 1, 2, 3, and 4As, you're able to move up and play into higher classifications, and you see it throughout the years. And especially in basketball, it's a lot of fun to watch those crossovers in classification. And it's a lot of fun when the smaller school can upset the bigger school. And so that's a lot of fun. But these two teams, or these four teams here, they can play up and did play up throughout the year.
That's
Harding
right.
Academy pulls off the dual state championships, winning in football and in basketball. Here they've got a great chance to win in baseball as well. Can you imagine being able to win all three of them in the same year? They beat Mayflower 42-38, preventing Mayflower from winning both the boys and the girls state championships, as the Mayflower girls were able to beat Centerville 29-27. Mayflower on both sides, we saw them this year in a game that we were able to stream. Both teams, very, very good teams.
Yeah, both a lot of talent on both of those teams. I was really, really impressed with the girls. They came in only having, I believe, one loss in the game that we watched. It was against Dover, a team that they beat the night that we did that stream. So it was the grudge match, the rubber match between those two. And that was a really good game. And it showed me right there that the Mayflower girls were serious business.
Moving on into the 4A, Little Rock Mills beats Joseph Pinion and Morrilton 49-46 in a very, very good ball game there. And then Harrison, conference foes with Farmington, 68-54 victors. Harrison stayed number one most of the year in 4A, lost a couple games down the stretch, but were able to come back. I think they were third or fourth in the region, ended up coming back and winning the whole thing, beating Farmington, beating Star City. Both those teams have won the dual state championship or co-state championships the year before. They beat both of them, beating the home team Morrilton, and ended up winning it all with a final 68-54. They were absolutely tested.
Yeah, and of course that Morrilton team beat a very tough Magnolia team just the week before to get to that championship game. Ended that big streak there from Magnolia. So, that was a very talented Morrilton team as well. Joseph Pinion on that team, another one of those kids that we've had a chance to talk to all season long, and I'm sure we'll have an interview with him coming up here later too.
In the 5A, Jonesboro pulls the dual state championship as they win in both boys and girls. Jonesboro beats Maumelle 58-56 on the boys' side. Jonesboro beats West Memphis 47-39 on the girls' side. I can tell you on the boys' side, Wes Swift, the coach of Jonesboro, fantastic basketball coach. He can coach on the college level. In fact, I know that there have been people that have tried to get him to coach on the college level before. Fantastic coach. He wins 58-56 over Maumelle.
So that's a big win. We know Maumelle is a good team. We've talked to some of those guys as well. And I haven't had a chance to see them in action, although I've seen some of their games on other networks. So I know that Maumelle is a pretty good team.
And finally, North Little Rock wins 65-55 over Central. That was a game, we got Bryson Warren. Bryson Warren is another guy that we had talked about and talked to. Bryson Warren, sophomore, basically have been recognized as the best player in the state of Arkansas by winning the KATV Player of the Year. But his team loses 65-55 over Little Rock Central, North Little Rock. They had beaten North Little Rock twice earlier in the year, but were unable to beat them for the third time. And we know that third time is always the hardest when you're trying to beat a good team.
It really is. It's hard to beat a team twice, much less three times.
And then finally, Fort Smith Northside prevails by 1 point over Fayetteville, 52-51. Jersey Wolfenbarger, another one that we've had on the show, ends up pushing her team over the edge and winning 52-51. Wolfenbarger will be playing for Mike Neighbors and the Lady Razorbacks next year. One of the top 5 players in the whole entire country. We got her on this show.
And I remember that interview. I'll just talk about that a little later, but it was one of my favorite interviews over the course of this year with the perspective that she brought on how she came to go to Arkansas. We'll have that coming up later.
And we want to just go down just a list, and this is not all of them. We have had so many kids, so many standout kids, so many kids that we would see making waves. We'd get their stats. Bryce McCabe, as a kid that we just continually saw and saw and saw with his statistics. And finally, we were like, hey, we got to find out what this kid is all about there from Mountain Home, the quarterback. And, Kendrick Juniel from Bearden, guy that signed with Bobby Petrino and the Missouri State Bears there in football, but was a fantastic basketball player. Cam Turner and Keyshawn Scott were two guys that we've had throughout the years. Cam Turner, we had him, I think he might have been on 3 times in some capacity.
And that's just at this show. That's not including the other broadcasts that we've done. I feel like we almost had – I was on a first-name basis with Cam for a little while. So.
Absolutely. And he's a walk-on at Arkansas State. Got a chance to live his dream. Austin Ledbetter and Hayden Schrader, 2 guys that tore it up for Bryant this year.
Let me tell you, arguably one of the best 1-2 punches you're going to see in the state of Arkansas this year, as you got the favorite tight end and the go-to quarterback. These guys was tearing it up. You and I had a chance to see them in person at North Little Rock, and I mean they put on a clinic against North Little Rock, a team they later faced again in the state title game, and of course they had the same result. But Schrader and the quarterback Ledbetter, they were a 1-2 punch that were unmatched in high school football this year.
Jordan Hanna, a guy he's walking on for the Razorbacks this year, got it done on the football field, also on the wrestling mat. A guy that just was incredible. And the very first interview we had, by the way, so we will say thanks to Jordan for that. Jalen Ricks is a guy that is at Oak Hill Academy right now, that's from Sylvan Hills. We caught up with him. He had a fantastic senior season on the court this year. Landon Rogers, a guy that's going to he's at Arkansas right now, taking in that spring practice and all. Landon Rogers was a guy that big name that we've gotten on the show.
And Landon Rogers, he was the one, the memorable interview, had to wear his face mask because we did that recording at school. But Landon Rogers, seeing him in person at War Memorial Stadium against Benton, a pretty good performance, even a losing effort with Parkview. Really wish we would have been able to see the tight end who we also had on the show.
Aaron
Outley. Yeah. So, I wish I had been able to see all of those guys, but you look at that Parkview Patriot team and, we've talked to a lot of them, not only for football, but also in basketball. And you see these names where they've been offered to big D1 schools across the country. And, Parkview's doing something when they're producing those athletes.
Oh, absolutely. They're going to continue to do so over there at Parkview. That football program is really going. We have James Jointer, a Parkview running back that just committed to Arkansas. Also one of the newest commitments to Arkansas, Andrew Chambly. We had him as well.
Yep.
Speaking of Arkansas commitments, we had Joseph Pinion on twice this year. Big-time commitments there. Joseph will be playing his senior season, led his team all the way to the state finals there in basketball. Morrilton, believe it or not, doesn't make the state finals all that often in basketball, so it's a big deal there in Morrilton. Darian Ford's another one, a guy that's a junior that we had, wonderful interview that we have. We're going to have more from him coming up. Of course, Nick Smith Jr., he's another guy that from Sylvan Hills, one of the best players in the state of Arkansas, one of the top 25 players in the whole nation. We had him on the show as well. And Izzy Higginbottom. Izzy was a good interview there.
Yeah, it was a good one.
She's headed to Missouri to take on the Lady Hogs at some point, in the SEC. And Izzy was a great interview. She scored 57 points in a state finals or state tournament game this last year. Fantastic interview. Good kid there. And I think I've just about covered them. Wes Moore and Scotty Thurman. I mean, I know that they're not preps. But Scotty Thurman coaches at Little Rock Parkview. And then, of course, Wes Moore, he does a great job of covering the state of Arkansas. And so we really appreciate everybody that's come on. There are other people that have come on, and we really appreciate it. And, who knows what the situation is going to look like next year. We're looking forward to having more of the best preps throughout the next year here on PrimeTime Preps.
Absolutely. We want to keep building what we've already built. And, we were looking at all these underclassmen that are coming up into the varsity ranks, and we're looking at you. Next year, we're going to come contacting you saying, hey, you want to talk to us, and we're going to be able to promote these guys. We want to make sure that, especially in this COVID world that we've lived in this year, that a lot of people aren't going to be able to go to these games and see these kids play. And so, when you see them playing at the next level on a Saturday, if it's football, we want to be able to let you as a viewer know, or a listener know, here's who these kids are, here's what they're about, and you can have a special part in knowing that, hey, I got to hear an interview with that guy when he was still in high school.
Well, we want you to stay tuned and stay tuned to Primetime Preps, as we've got several interviews that we're going to hit up here in the next 15, 20, 30 minutes here, to just the best of the Primetime Preps. I think on the docket, we're going to have Jordan Hanna, Austin Ledbetter, Landon Rogers, Joseph Pinion, Jersey Wolfenbarger, Darian Ford, James Jointer, and Andrew Chambly. So you don't want to miss what we've got coming up here on the Best of Primetime Preps, our last show of the 2021 school year. So stay tuned, and we'll be back right after this.
Your family, your most prized possession. You want to take care of them. You want to give them the very best. When choosing a pharmacy, you want someone that knows your name, understands you and your way of life. At Rose Drug, they will take care of your family just like you were their own. They will be someone that you can trust with the ones that you love the most. That's Rose Drug in Russellville.
Here, in the heart of the River Valley, is St. Mary's Regional Health System. Here is the area's most comprehensive range of medical services, along with advanced treatment options and responsive emergency care. Here is our team of more than 900 professionals who bring healthcare to life through people caring for people. And it is here where you can count on St. Mary's to always be, because to us, community matters. For more than 90 years, our investment in our community has been unmatched, and today that couldn't be stronger. St. Mary's, we're here for you.
When is the last time you had a life insurance checkup? Does your life insurance plan provide you with critical illness coverage or long-term care coverage? Contact the experts at Giroux & Associates for a life insurance checkup today. Protect your most valuable asset, yourself. Call Mike Giroux at 888-360-8611 to schedule an appointment today.
We have Austin Ledbetter and Hayden Schrader, one of the best duos to ever come through the state of Arkansas. We had them on earlier this season as they marched through to yet another state championship for the Bryant Hornets.
All right, Austin, we're going to start with you being the quarterback. Tell us about this state championship. You guys finished another undefeated season. That's 2 in a row and 3 straight state championships. So tell us about this season.
It was tough dealing with COVID and things like that. We didn't have a spring. We didn't have a summer. And, to go out there and win our 3rd straight, shows a lot about our team and the adversity we had to go through to finish the season.
What is it that has made Bryant so good as of recent?
I think it's our work ethic and our mentality. We work so hard from spring, summer to the end of the season to where, we're not going to give up. We're not going to let a team beat us, with all the work that we put in. We don't have that mentality to lose.
Refuse to lose. I love it. I assume that's got to come from Coach James.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, Hayden, man, so thanks for joining us here. I mean, we got a bonus here. Got a guy that leads the state right now in receiving yardage. And you are, 8th in the nation, I believe, altogether in receiving yardage, 68 catches, 1,424 yards on the season. That says a lot being in the biggest classification.
Yes, sir. It's been fun year for sure.
And so Tell us a little bit about your role on the team. I mean, you and Austin seem to have a really good connection, and you're probably one of the very few high school tight ends that I've even seen be used. But you're not the regular lineup and block tight end, but I'm sure you can do that as well. So tell us about your role on the team this year.
Last year I did more of like hand down blocking on the end and stuff. Did a lot of H-back blocking last year, but this year really kind of split out wide more and stuff. Played a lot of backside receiver and got a lot more receiving reps this year.
You did. Yeah. Like I said, 68 catches on the year, 20 touchdowns, I believe. I mean, you had an incredible year at just catching the ball from Austin here.
Mm-hmm.
Hayden, tell us a little bit about your recruiting here, man. We know Austin signed with Arkansas in baseball. What are you looking at here as far as your college prospects?
I've got a couple offers, D2 schools. I've got Henderson and OBU, and talking to a few D1 schools here in Arkansas.
So just you got a chance to sell yourself to the state here. Tell us why you need to be recruited by whoever you want to be recruited by.
I'm going to sit in the pocket or sit in the zone, sit in the windows, and get the ball.
Yeah.
Be where I need to be.
I mean, you lead the state in receiving. You're 8th in the country in receiving. You're doing something right there for sure. Austin, let's talk about you a little bit. You have, since we talked, you signed with Arkansas in baseball officially. Tell us a little bit about what you're looking forward. You've got a high school baseball season coming up as well. Tell us what the next few months look like for you.
I'm just trying to get ready for when I go up to Fayetteville. I'm trying to get a little bigger, a little stronger, throw a little harder. I'm trying to mature and get better in my game. I'm going up there as a two-way right now. So I need to start seeing, those bigger arms and things like that. And I just need to get, bigger, stronger.
Yeah.
And
so you're going up as a two-way. You're going as a pitcher. And what position are you looking to be playing up there?
Corner, third, or maybe middle infield.
Okay.
We have Jordan Hanna. Hannah was our very first interview. You'll actually tell the difference in the sound quality just through that. But Jordan ended up walking on for the Razorbacks, had a fantastic year at Greenwood.
You always have expectation at Greenwood. There's always the expectation. You don't just go to the playoffs. You guys play for state championships. What's it like playing at a program like that with such high expectations?
It's awesome. They hold you to a standard here that you would like to be held to, throughout your life. And that standard is excellence, throughout the program, from the time you're a young guy in pit bulls all the way through the middle school program and all the way on up to the high school program. They hold you to, I would say, not settling for less than what you can achieve. And I think that's one thing that they're really good at, is just preaching that.
Now, like I said, you're the 17th ranked player in the state by 24/7 Sports. You got a brother that's at Arkansas right now. Tell us a little bit about your recruitment right now and kind of what you're looking at.
So, I'm currently offered by Southern Miss, Austin Peay, University, Central Missouri, Pittsburgh State, Arkansas Tech, and yeah, that's it right now. But currently, I've got a few coaches that are talking to me from Boston College. I've got a coach talking to me from Penn State, and I've got a coach in contact with me from Syracuse. So those are the three that are looking at me right now.
I gotcha. You got any favorites right now?
Any favorite school that are talking to me, or
yeah, just
favorite schools in
any
general?
of them.
In general, I would say I like Colorado Boulder, just because I like Colorado out there. Ones that are recruiting me right now, I like Boston College. So.
We have Landon Rogers. Landon Rogers signed with the University of Arkansas along with his teammate Aaron Outley. His teammate James Jointer is going to join us later. But Rogers signed to play quarterback for the University of Arkansas. We have him on the show. He's got an awesome interview ahead. So you do have one of the best coaches in the state, Brad Bolding. He's turned that
Yes, sir.
program around there. Tell us what it's like to play quarterback for Coach Bolding.
It's no cakewalk. It's no cakewalk. I'll tell you that. I mean, even though he's not one of the main guys that coaches me, he's a big factor when it comes to everything that I do and how I lead a team. He's almost like a father figure in a lot of ways. He's a real outgoing. He's a real outstanding guy. He's a strong-willed guy. He's just a great coach all around. I mean, he can teach you anything from special teams to defense to throwing mechanics. I mean, working with him has really put me on top, and the connections that he's got me to has really made me become a greater athlete and quarterback on the field.
A lot of people are interested in you because you're a Razorback commitment. Tell people about what your strengths are as a football player.
My strengths as a football player is being able to move the chains and get to where the ball needs to be to get to the end zone. I mean, as far as that's concerned, I mean, as long as I do my job, I believe we will put points on the board, and that goes for anybody. And you can't do anything without those other 10 guys playing with you. As far as blocks, linemen, running backs, it all comes into play with being a great team, being able to put points on the board. If everybody does their job, we will score. I mean, that's a fact. I mean, that's just how it's going to be.
I like that confidence that you've got there. You committed to the Razorbacks, you decommitted to the Razorbacks, you committed again. What's that process been like for you?
As far as the decommitment, I believe that I committed a little early, and I wanted to sit back and take time. But the longer I sat back and looked at it, the more I realized that's where I want to be. I love the coaching staff. I love the facility. I love everything they had to offer, and it's great to be a part of such a great football team. And the progress that they're making is outstanding, being able to compete with the best of the best and then putting up, great amount of effort and being able to have, top SEC players just on the defense, offense. It's great. I want to be a part of it.
What was it about the new coaching staff that you like so much?
They're very honest people. They're very good people. They're not there to play games. They know what they can do. They know what you can do. They know what they want, and they've always been honest with me. And that goes a long. Relationships go a long way. You treat you got, what I'm saying. They treat me very well. They're very, they're just. I mean, I couldn't tell you in words. I mean, it's just somewhere they just make you feel wanted, and they treat you as family up there, and it's a great place to be. And that's where I want to be.
What are the coaches telling you about kind of like what's your role going to be up there?
I haven't really been talking about a role, but I know what I do want to play, and that would be quarterback. And I would love to be able to go up there and showcase my talent and be a part of such a well team and be able to help them succeed. Since I can run, I can throw. It's all a part. I mean, I'm just there to help them move the chains, do my job. That's what I want to do.
We have Joseph Pinion. Pinion, guy that had come on multiple times, talked to us a little bit about how his season was going and what he had saw in the Razorback basketball program under Coach Eric Musselman.
Joining us here on the Giroux and Associates Hotline, we've got Joseph Pinion, Arkansas Razorback commitment, but right now, most importantly, state finalists in the 4A. Joseph, thanks for joining us here on Primetime Preps.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
What's it like to lead Morrilton to their first state final since 1991?
It's a great feeling. This is something that we've always wanted to do ever since I moved here in 7th grade. This is what we've always been talking about.
Are you hearing anything from folks on the Hill after that win?
Yes, sir. Coach Muss and Coach Boykins have reached out recently, the day of, to congratulate me on the win, even though they had their tragic loss the other day, which I think, which was good for them. They needed the loss early so they can make a run in the tournament.
What have you been seeing as far as that goes with them? I mean, the excitement has got to be there for you as a junior, and you're watching this program go from, maybe a little above average to average program to here you are now, you're a 3 seed in the NCAA tournament. What are they telling you there about the future of the Razorback program?
They're really excited to bring me in. Chance and I have been talking, the other hog recruit in 2021. We've been talking a lot. We're really excited about what's happening for the team and just really excited to see what happens whenever I get there.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time, and it just seems like Razorback basketball is kind of going in that direction. And I mean, and you're going to get a chance to be a part of that. You're going to get a chance to be a part of that resurgence there under Coach Musselman.
Jersey Wolfenbarger, one of our best interviews, one of our most engaging interviews that we had. Jersey, one of the top 5 players in the entire country, ended up moving from Missouri to Arkansas, ends up signing with the Razorbacks, and Coach Mike Neighbors is going to love her there in Fayetteville.
And this is one of my favorite interviews that we've done all year with Jersey, because it gives you that special insight into the Razorback women's basketball program, how they operate. And Jersey Wolfenbarger was an outstanding interview for us on this year.
You're 6'5". I mean,
Yes, sir.
that's insane to me. Number one, I'm not 6'5". And not only that, but the great story that you have is that you went from 5'6", what, in the 10th grade? Is that right?
As a freshman.
As
Yes,
a
sir.
freshman, you were 5'6" as a freshman. You're 6'5" now. So, how did that happen?
Oh man, probably genetics. Genetics and stretching, I guess. I don't know.
You went from 5'6" to 6'5". People call you the female Kevin Durant. What do you think about that when people call you that?
They're definitely very, very big shoes to fill, because KD is obviously one of the best players, in the NBA right now. But I don't know, he's kind of inspired my game. So I feel like the comparison's pretty relevant.
Yeah. Like I said, you grew up, grew quickly. You were kind of an unknown for a while. A lot of people don't know that you had moved from Missouri. You actually lived in Missouri. Tell us a little bit about that and the move from Missouri to Fort Smith.
The move was difficult in the sense that, I had to leave my family. So all of my family and my extended family all lived within like 10 minutes of each other. And so, moving down to Fort Smith, Arkansas, which is like an hour and a half from everybody, that's definitely difficult to not be able to have their support, right next door, having to only be able to see them on certain occasions and stuff like that. But the fact that they've supported me in my journey and they knew that the sacrifice I had to make was to move so that I could play for, Coach Smith or be able to surround myself with other great players. Just the move is difficult, but I don't regret, coming to Northside and kind of doing my thing there. So,
well, it's all worked out, right? I mean,
yeah,
you, not only with the growth, but the fact you moved and just everything has kind of worked together here to where you have signed with the University of Arkansas. And of course, being ranked as highly as you were, you had schools from everywhere. Tell us some of the offers, some of the coaches that you met throughout this process.
Well, my final 2 ended up being between Oregon and Arkansas. I felt like their styles were very, very similar, and Coach Graves and Coach Neighbors both had similar, eagerness to learn and to teach. And I think that was definitely challenging. I guess, yeah. I don't know. That was very challenging to decide where I was going to end up. But it's like, since I said moving, being only 45 minutes away from my family now was kind of the deciding factor, which I didn't think it would be. I never really saw like distance as a problem for me, but leaving and moving to Northside kind of helped shape that. Like, I want to be able to have my family at my games. So that's kind of why Arkansas, stood out over Oregon. But among the other ones that I had Notre Dame, and I really enjoyed talking to their head coach, Coach McGraw. And then I liked OU a lot. I liked their staff, but really just Arkansas spoke to me. So that kind of became my deciding factor.
And Coach Neighbors is a pretty incredible guy, pretty unique guy there. What have you learned about Coach Neighbors since you've been recruited by him and signed with Arkansas?
He just has a passion for the game. He has a passion to learn, and that really resonated with me because I see myself as very similar. Like I can't wait to learn from him. And so to be able to continue to grow alongside somebody and somebody that's still continuing to grow his program, it really excites me. And, overall, I haven't got to play for him yet, but I've watched a lot of their games, and he just has so much passion, and the culture of the team is like, it is a family. It's so driven to be successful, and everybody wants to do their part to make sure that the team's successful. And that just really excites me, and I can't wait to get there.
We have Darian Ford. Darian Ford, one of the best players in the country, possible McDonald's All-American for the 2022 year. He's coming up his senior year, one of the really legendary Arkansas players now, two-time state champion, two-time MVP of the state tournament. Darian Ford, one of the awesome interviews that we've had throughout the year.
You really come on the scene here. As a freshman, you were the state tournament MVP, and then everybody knew about you last year. Now here you are as a junior, and we're talking about, possible five-star status before it's all said and done. What's it been like over these last 2 years to go from relatively unknown to now possible McDonald's All-American before it's all said and done?
Oh, well, when I was a little kid, me and my dad always talked about being a McDonald's All-American. So I just work hard every day trying to accomplish that goal. My ultimate goal is to make it to the NBA. That's what I want to do. But right now I'm focused on perfecting my craft and just trying to complete short-term goals right now. And hopefully the big goals, they'll be accomplished sooner or later.
So tell me about some of your short-term goals. What are those that you're trying to achieve?
Well, the first one was when we came back from Katy, Texas, was to win the state championship in Magnolia, Arkansas. So that has been checked off, but we want to keep winning. We want to keep winning, obviously. And my dad, we want to keep working hard. So this year, my goal was by the end of the year to show the scouts that my game is for next level, is ready for the next level. So that's what we've been working on, and hopefully I can accomplish that goal.
All right. So speaking of the next level here, I mean, as of right now, there's no straight to the NBA route. It's still at least 1 year in college.
Yes, sir.
So let's talk about some of the people that are recruiting you right now and kind of what you're thinking right now as far as just your recruiting situation.
I've been talking to a lot of universities, watching a lot of games. I've got a chance to watch Arkansas, Florida, Missouri, Auburn, Alabama, Ole Miss, and those I know it's been a lot of more colleges I hadn't got a chance to watch yet, but those are some of the games that I've been able to watch, and it just looks so fun to be out there playing, and all the stuff that me and my dad were working on, we see it out there during the college games. So we just always try to pick up on information, stuff that we can soak up, and we can use that into our workout, and I'll be ready for it for wherever I go down the line.
Well, let's talk about some of the teams here, and and I'm not trying to get you to commit here by any means, but tell me, what are some of the teams and who are some of the coaches that you're liking right now?
Well, it's hard for me to say. I love all the coaches. I love all the coaches that I've been able to talk to. I've been building a very great bond with all the colleges. It's not one that sticks out yet, but I know that all the colleges I've talked to, I love them all, and we've been building bonds stronger every day.
Okay. Well, I know that there's going to be a lot of fans around here that are going to be curious about how you feel about Arkansas and Coach Musselman. So tell us a little bit about your situation with Arkansas right now.
Arkansas is amazing. I talk to them almost 3 times a week, and it's like every time we get on the phone, it's like we hadn't lost the beat. It's like we've been knowing each other for so long, and their program is amazing. Coach Muss and his staff are doing an amazing job with their program, and I wish nothing but the best for them.
Is there anything attractive about Arkansas maybe versus some of the other ones?
They're just a great program, just like the other schools, and I just love them.
You're not going to show your hand, are you? You got that poker face going right now. Oh, I love it, man.
Well, We have James Jointer. James Jointer recently committed to the Razorbacks to play football for them, made waves throughout the state when he did that. One of the best running backs in the state of Arkansas, a big-time kid from Little Rock Parkview. He's going to be fun to watch in the 2022 school year.
Man, big commitment over the weekend. Yourself and Andrew, who's going to be on with us as well. Andrew Chambly, you guys committed at the same time at the same place here. Tell us a little bit about the commitment to Arkansas.
It was pretty big. Arkansas recruited me the hardest, just the relationship I had with the coaches. It was really hard for me to make a decision to leave a state, and they recruited my family as well, so that stood out to me. So, and I felt like I made a great decision staying at home.
So you talk about that you recruited your family. Tell us what they did to recruit your family.
Like calling my mom, checking up on her, or like when the coaches called me, they asked about my younger brother, how he's doing. Call my mama, texting her, everything. So, when they send mail, they'll not only send mail, like send handwritten letters, they'll write some to my mom or ask how my brother doing, stuff like that.
So you didn't waste a lot of time. I mean, you could have let this thing ride out throughout the season, maybe signed in December, or you could have signed in February. You could have let it go, but you decided Arkansas was the place for you pretty early.
A lot of people say pretty early, but I've been getting recruited for 3 years now. Like I had the offer as a freshman, so like recruitment been, it's been 3 years. It kind of get tiring after a while. So, and with COVID and everything, I've been able to take visits to other places, and with me visiting Arkansas like 3 to 4 times already, that made a big big plus. And once the season starts, I want to just lock in on my school season, not have to worry about recruiting.
Have you been a Razorback fan your whole life?
I actually grew up watching, I like the TCU and Baylor when I was younger. But I watched the Razorback because, of course, I'm from here. I had favorite players for the Razorbacks like Joe Adams, Jadis Wright, and Derek McFadden. I love to watch.
Good times back then. So let's talk about that a little bit here. What are the coaches telling you about how they feel about where the program is going and how you can kind of be a part of that?
They feel like we're going to head in the right direction if we just start with the in-state guys because, like going back to Joe Adams then, the last time Arkansas was really good is when they had all the best players from in-state. So we got to start by getting all the guys from in-state. And, with me being one of those guys, one of the top players in the state, I can help recruit the other guys in-state. So.
Well, I saw that you were already recruiting a little bit on Twitter yesterday. Can you give us a little insight into that?
Oh yeah, Quincy McAdoo, man, that's my guy. I've been talking to him. I was talking to him all night, about Arkansas and coming back home. There's no place like home, so I'm working on that. Hopefully I have some big news for Hog Nation. Sometime this month.
Hey, there you go. Now that's some news right there. That'd be something else. Talk about committing with Andrew. What was it about? Why did y'all commit together?
Because Andrew, he another good friend of mine, and he was thinking about we cut our list down around the same time. And, we was on FaceTime just talking, and he was telling me he was thinking Hogs, and I'm like, hold on, I'm thinking Hogs. And then he was telling me how his parents had no idea that he was thinking Arkansas, and my mom had no idea. So I'm like, hold on, we might be on to something. We can, both surprise our parents that we staying home. So that's how that went about.
Oh, nice.
And finally, Andrew Chambly, another of those Razorback commitments that came out just a couple weeks ago. Chambly, what a great kid, a big-time work ethic, dual sport athlete, but he's going to be playing offensive line for the University of Arkansas, and he's got a smile that lights up the room.
And I like the way he had that interview as well. Chambly came in and he says, "Natty on the hill." And that was the phrase that I heard the first time I heard that interview. And I said, I like this guy.
You got to love it, man. Andrew Chambly.
But the relationship that I have with Coach Davis and Coach Pittman up there is just a great thing. The fan base is amazing, and the junior day, when we had the virtual junior day, I just felt like it was going to be home.
Yeah. And you mentioned Coach Pittman. How much did his reputation with offensive linemen help you choose Arkansas?
It helped tremendously, knowing that he's going to treat me well, knowing that I'm an in-state and I'm an offensive lineman. I definitely know that he's going to give me a chance to get to the league if I pursue that. And I know that he's going to push me on and off the field.
Tell us who you are as a player.
I'd say I'm pretty soft, but when I'm on the field, I just bring that intensity, the dog out in me, and just bring that whole new level. I like to play physical. I like to get nasty. Climbing to the second level is something else that I like to do. Just putting the linebackers in the dirt. So.
And what are they telling you at Arkansas? What position are you going to be playing there?
They said I'll probably play tackles and guard, just to move me around a little bit, and just get a feel so that if I do go to the league, I'm not just stuck with knowing one position.
Well, there you go. If you have one thing that you could tell Razorback fans right now about the future of Arkansas football, what would you say?
Natty on the hill.
Oh, man, that's big. Natty on the hill. I like it.
Your family, your most prized possession. You want to take care of them. You want to give them the very best. When choosing a pharmacy, you want someone that knows your name, understands you and your way of life. At Rose Drug, they will take care of your family just like you were their own. They will be someone that you can trust with the ones that you love the most. That's Rose Drug in Russellville.
Here, in the heart of the River Valley, is St. Mary's Regional Health System. Here is the area's most comprehensive range of medical services, along with advanced treatment options and responsive emergency care. Here is our team of more than 900 professionals who bring healthcare to life through people caring for people. And it is here where you can count on St. Mary's to always be, because to us, community matters. For more than 90 years, our investment in our community has been unmatched, and today that couldn't be stronger. St. Mary's, we're here for you.
When is the last time you had a life insurance checkup? Does your life insurance plan provide you with critical illness coverage or long-term care coverage? Contact the experts at Giroux & Associates for a life insurance checkup today. Protect your most valuable asset, yourself. Call Mike Giroux at 888-360-8611 to schedule an appointment today.
And welcome back to the final segment, Primetime Preps for the 2020-2021 school year. Appreciate everybody that has been involved with this. But we've got some special thank yous, Bill, that we really need to give out. And Tommy Kraft and Ty Richardson for allowing us to be here. I mean, we got a chance to be a part of ESPN. I mean, come on. Seriously,
man, that's not something that just anybody gets a chance to do, and I'm very appreciative of it, for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks to Ty for giving us the opportunity. Thanks for Tommy for putting up with Ty. And we really do appreciate you guys and all that you guys have done for us. And of course, we got a chance to, we just went down the list of all the kids. You heard from some of them there that we got a chance to talk to, some of the best in the state of Arkansas.
By far.
And then, of course, Mike Giroux, thank you again for being our sponsor here on the Giroux & Associates hotline throughout the school year. We do appreciate that. And everybody for listening and being a part of it. And, going out and listening to SoundCloud and iTunes and everywhere else that we had it, and then watching it here on Facebook. We do appreciate it so much. you're the ones that really make this thing worthwhile and possible.
Absolutely, couldn't do it without them. Without the sponsors, and of course, I also want to thank Trey Johnson with all the work that he does each and every week, with all of the graphics that you see all over the show. Couldn't do it without him.
Absolutely, absolutely. Trey, wow. I mean, seriously, what this guy, you've never seen him. You've never seen him here. He is a real person. He's not a figment of our imagination. He's a real guy, and it does great work. And really, through all the things that we've done throughout the year, Bill, if it wasn't for Trey, I don't know what would have been possible. We get so much about what our look is and stuff. A lot of that has to do with Trey.
It absolutely does, and I really look up to him for it. I mean, not just because he's head and shoulders taller than me, but I mean, he does really great work. And there's times when I need a graphic, and it may be 11:30 at night. I'll shoot him over a message and be like, hey, let's work on this, and lo and behold, I'll get it within a few couple 30 minutes or so. So
Yeah.
Trey is really good. He's really quick at what he does, and this wouldn't be a success without him.
Absolutely. And Bill, got to thank you, man. You're the guy putting it together, kind of make it work. And
you, with all the interviews
things
that you get, they'll get done. So,
well, we man, it's a labor of love. I love doing it. Love talking sports. I love talking to high school kids, that are head and shoulders above the rest, trying to, give some recognition to some of these kids. Some of these kids weren't as highly recognized as some of the other ones. But man, we got a chance to talk to some of the best, whether it be highly recruited or not. They were the best in the state of Arkansas. And man, what an honor and a privilege it was to do that. And so we're excited. We're excited about the future. But speaking of the future, since we are taking this break, you need to go like the Arkansas Sports Network on Facebook and on Twitter. You can find us on both of those platforms. And, get close to what we're doing on content-wise. We've got some stuff coming up for sure. We're into live games. We've got a lot of stuff going on with that. So you want to like that because we've just got a ton of stuff happening on the Arkansas Sports Network.
That's right. And that's the only way you're going to follow it is if you follow us on Facebook and on Twitter at AR Sportsnet. You'll be able to follow us and see all the good things that we got going on our end.
And again, we want to say thank you to everybody that was a part of this, coaches, players, administrators, all of it, to take part and allow us to do it. Morrilton, I mean, Lord, how many times did we use Morrilton and their facilities? We appreciate them and everybody that let us use our facilities. Again, it took a lot to make it happen, but we made it happen and we were excited about it. So, Bill, I think it's time to wrap it up and just say, again, thanks to everybody, and we'll see you next time around.
There you have it.
Well, one last time again, for Bill, I'm Brad saying so long. We'll talk to you next time right here on Primetime Preps.